Most of them have not yet been updated to reflect the tasks, but if we scroll down, we'll see that some of them are. For example, the Behavioral Intervention with Sexual Minorities grant that belongs to Ms. Mendoza. All the tasks are listed. So if I want to know what's going on with one of my grants and I want to know what I have to do in the next short period of time, I can generate this report. It shows my tasks. I can click the task. Let's say I want to click the 440 and find out more about it. I can click it and it'll open up the task, and if I had input a description or anything of the sort, it would automatically have been reflected.
Ukesh, if I'm Lulu and I just want to see all the tasks for me, how would I?
Okay, so what we can do is we can click on any of these names, or don't click yet, just point to any one of these names. So Mr. Mehta, I can click on any of them right with my right mouse button. And I can go down to text filters, and I can click equals, and I can type in Lulu Mendoza. Now I got to make sure to spell it correctly. Eventually I can input a drop-down menu to where you can select the name, but for now we have to input the name manually. Whoops, I didn't type her name in right. O-Z-A. So there we go. So now I have shown only Lulu's grants and the relevant tasks associated with them. So if I'm Lulu, I can print out this report just like you would any document. I can go to the Start menu at the top left. I can go to Print, and let's just look at a print preview. So if I go to the top left, there's a little Windows button, round button. I put my mouse over the print and go to the right, and you'll see Print Preview. Okay, you're already in there. And here we show how it will print out. So let's close the print preview. Right here there's an X that says Close Print Preview. Let's close it. And let's also close this report. Right here, there's a little X towards the right of my screen in the blue section. Let's close that report. And similarly, if I wanted to look at a report of tasks by accountant, I can look at that report, and it shows in alphabetical order the accountant, the grant title, and the task that needs to be accomplished, and the due dates. Now, like I said before, not everything has been input just yet. There's a ton of tasks, and if I did all of them, it would take me hours. But if each accountant put in their own tasks, it would take minutes. So I encourage you guys to use this and input your tasks to give yourself reminders. We decided against having it send Outlook an automatic email because we didn't want your inbox to be flooded. You guys are able to keep track yourself by just going into this system and generating reports or clicking on your name and looking at your grants or looking at your tasks. So in this report, similarly, if I wanted to only know Mr. Mehta's grants, I can right-click his name. I can click equals Jawahar Mehta, and there we go. We only see his tasks. And there's 9 of them, as my totals indicate. And none of them have been started as of yet. But if I go to Form 440, if I click that task, and if I change the status to completed, then the next time or actually, it removes itself from this report because it has already been completed. And now my total is 8. Similarly, if I look at the Healthcare for the Homeless grant and I click that task, Form 440, and I have completed that, that's also been removed from the tasks. So now I'm Mr. Mehta, and I'm looking at my report and I'm saying, okay, I'm making good progress here. Only 7 more to go. So it's a good way of keeping track of my grants and what progress I've made and what progress needs to be made. Now, from a supervisor's perspective, if I get a phone call from a grant company and they say, I haven't received a Form 440 as of yet, I can click on, and let's say an accountant is on vacation. I can click on any of the reports, I can open it, I can sort it, and I can see that, okay, Mr. Mehta was supposed to complete a 440 by this date. So if I'm on the line with the people in charge of this grant, I can tell them, you're right, we're in the middle of completing that form. If Mr. Mehta had changed the status to in progress to show that he was in the middle of completing it, and in the description, let's say he writes, waiting on pertinent information from program coordinator. So let's say I need information before I can complete the Form 440. If I'm a supervisor and I get a phone call and they ask me, hey, what's up with the 440? I'll click that task and I'll say, well, Mr. Grantor, we're actually waiting on information, so we're going to have to get back to you and you're going to have to wait a little while. And this way, any relevant questions can be answered. There's no gap in information between accountants, supervisors, and the CFO. Let's say you have a colleague handling an assignment for you because you're unable to come into work that week because you're sick. You can direct them to the grant management system. They can open up your tasks and they can see exactly what needs to be done. So it allows for sharing of information, it eliminates gaps in information, and it just keeps everyone's data consistent, organized, and easily accessible. And that was the goal of this system to begin with. The goal of this is for it to be as user-friendly and as intuitive as possible to make your lives easier, not more difficult. And I know it may seem a little intimidating at first in that there's so many different functions. Believe me, it was intimidating for me since I had no exposure to Access at first. But after about a couple days working with it, I realized that like any Microsoft product, it is very easy to use. It is very user-friendly. And Access helps you stay incredibly organized. By having just one format for the data, it will keep the fiscal unit extremely consistent as far as data input is concerned. And I think in the long run, efficiency will be improved, and you guys will find that it is working out. I welcome you guys to play around with it and learn, and hopefully it proves to be very useful. I think it will. So thank you so much for your attendance, and please stay a few minutes and play with the software. Ask me any questions as far as using it. I'd be happy to answer. And I commend your guys' hard work and dedication. It's been great to work with all of you. Thank you.